The crystalline halls of the Velkari throne world hummed with a frequency that made human bones ache. Ambassador Marcus Chen stood before the assembled court, his diplomatic uniform feeling suddenly inadequate among the bioluminescent nobles who regarded him with multifaceted eyes that held 1,000 years of contempt. The Velkari had ruled this sector for millennia. Humanity had barely crawled beyond its own solar system when they'd made first contact. The relationship had been strained. Humans were seen as crude, short-lived creatures barely worthy of acknowledgement. But the Treaty of Andromeda Gate required this, a human presence at court, a symbolic gesture toward galactic unity. Marcus had served 3 years in this gilded cage, enduring the whispers, the calculated insults, the casual dismissals. He'd learned their customs, mastered their impossibly complex language, and maintained his dignity through it all. It was a lonely existence, all except for one bright spot. Queen Teshivara's daughter, Princess Liana, had been 7 cycles old when Marcus arrived, roughly equivalent to a human 8-year-old. Unlike the other Velkari, she possessed an insatiable curiosity about the strange human who walked their halls. While others ignored him, she approached with endless questions. What was Earth like? Did humans really live such brief lives? Why did his face change colors when he was embarrassed? Marcus, homesick and isolated, had welcomed her interest. He'd shown her pictures of Earth's oceans, taught her human games, and told her stories of humanity's chaotic rise to the stars. In those moments, the weight of representing his entire species lifted, and he was simply an adult caring for a curious child. The Queen had never forbidden it, though her court disapproved. Perhaps she saw it as harmless. What threat could a human pose? Or perhaps, Marcus sometimes wondered, she understood loneliness in a way her subjects did not. Now, standing in the Grand Hall during the Festival of Ascension, Marcus faced his greatest diplomatic challenge yet. The ceremony was sacred to the Velkari, a moment when young nobles declared their lineage before the court, cementing their place in society's rigid hierarchy. It was a human's not welcome event, but the Queen had insisted on his presence. A test, perhaps, or a trap. Princess Liana stood at the center of the crystalline platform, her carapace shimmering with the iridescent colors of adolescence. She had grown so much in 3 years. Soon she would undergo her final metamorphosis and take her place among the ruling caste. The master of ceremonies, Lord Kethazar, began the ritual chant. His voice resonated through the chamber, each syllable carrying the weight of tradition. Other young nobles had already spoken, declaring their parents, their houses, their eternal loyalty to Velkari supremacy. Now it was Liana's turn. The princess stepped forward, her movements graceful despite her youth. The entire court leaned in, eager to hear the Queen's heir reaffirm the old ways, to remind this presumptuous human of his place. I am Liana, daughter of Teshivara, heir to the crystalline throne, she began, her voice clear and strong, the traditional words, spoken countless times before. But then she paused. Her multifaceted eyes found Marcus in the crowd. Something in her gaze made his heart clench, a mixture of defiance and affection that transcended species. I stand before you raised not only by my mother's wisdom, she continued, her voice wavering slightly, but also by the kindness of one who showed me that greatness is not measured in years lived or power held, but in the compassion given freely. Lord Kethazar's antennae twitched in confusion. This was not the script. Murmurs rippled through the assembled nobles. Among our people we have a saying, Liana said, her voice growing stronger, that blood recognizes blood and duty recognizes duty. But the humans have taught me another way, that family can be chosen, that love can bridge the infinite dark between stars. The Queen rose from her throne, her bioluminescence flickering with an emotion Marcus couldn't read. The entire court held its collective breath. Liana turned fully toward Marcus, and in that moment, 3 years of shared stories, quiet laughter, and gentle lessons crystallized into something that defied galactic politics and ancient prejudices. My mother gave me life and lineage, the princess declared, her voice ringing through the silent hall. But this human, Marcus Chen of Earth, gave me something equally precious. He gave me his time when he had no obligation, his stories when he had no audience, and his care when he had no family of his own. She extended one delicate limb toward him, a gesture of respect among her people. And so, Before this court, I name him as he deserves to be named. Not as ambassador, not as human, but as father of my heart. The Velkari word she used, Theshkai, carried profound weight. It meant mentor, protector, chosen guardian. It was a title of deepest honor, one never before given to an outsider. The silence that fell was absolute. Marcus felt tears burning in his eyes, something the Velkari could not do but understood nonetheless. His throat tightened with emotion he'd suppressed for 3 long years. "Father," Liana said again, this time in English, her pronunciation careful and deliberate. "Thank you for seeing me, not as a princess or an heir, but as a child who needed a friend." Queen Teshuvara descended from her throne, moving with the fluid grace of her kind. She approached Marcus, and he prepared himself for exile, for the end of his career, for the diplomatic disaster this would cause. Instead, the queen inclined her head, a gesture of respect between equals. "My daughter has shown me what I failed to see," Teshuvara said softly. "That humanity's greatest strength is not their technology or their tenacity, but their capacity to love beyond all logic and reason." She paused, her bioluminescence shifting to a warm amber. "Ambassador Chen, you have honored both our peoples today, and you have my gratitude for caring for my child when duty did not require it." As the court erupted in shocked chatter, Marcus walked forward and knelt before Liana, his heart full. "It was my honor," he whispered. "It will always be my honor." In that moment, in a crystalline hall light years from Earth, a human and an alien princess proved that family, true family, recognizes no boundaries but those we choose to build. And somewhere in the cold vastness of space, humanity's reputation shifted, one daughter's love at a time.